I think we're possibly live. All right. I'm on StreamYard today, crazy device here. So always just trying to figure out technology. See, you can actually do really, really well, have a lot of skills, make a lot of money, and not understand technology at all. That is the beauty of this world. All right. So welcome to Thursday. Now, Thursdays are very, very special because on Thursdays, let me make sure that I'm seeing myself here. Thursdays, this is where you can ask me anything that you want as long as it's about selling. I mean, if you ask, I guess you could ask me like, do I like hot dogs or hamburgers? But that's not really going to help you that much, okay? So here, you can actually ask me anything that you want today, all right? Now, the rules of the game. Let me give you the rules of the game before everybody gets crazy, okay? I get a lot of people on this live, usually 60, 70, 80 people at a time or something. That's the live, not even the replay. We probably have a couple hundred more that go through the replay. So the rules of the game, when you ask me a question, tell me, here's what I sell. So Jeremy, I sell life insurance, or Jeremy, I sell cars, or Jeremy, I sell high ticket, or Jeremy, I sell SaaS, or Jeremy, I sell cybersecurity, whatever it is, okay? So when you do that, okay, what I want you to do is say, I sell this, here's my question, because that allows me to understand the reason behind your question, and it kind of gives me an idea of how to answer it the best for you, okay? Now, if you are brand new to our Facebook group, Sales Revolution, okay? If you're brand new to our Facebook group, Sales Revolution, sometimes we'll have people on here for my private or my regular Facebook friends, and then we'll have people that stream in from YouTube. So if you're brand new to the Facebook group, Sales Revolution, okay, or you're just brand new seeing me for the first time, you're like, who the hell is this guy? My name is Jeremy Miner, and I am the founder and chairman of a company called Seventh Level. And we help sales professionals like you, salespeople like you. We help coaches, we help sales executives, managers, leaders, and business owners transform the way they and their teams sell by learning how to use human behavior in their sales process. We call that neuro-emotional persuasion questions with the right tonality, because that's so important. That puts the prospects at ease, eliminates sales pressure, and gets your prospects to persuade themselves. Now, what are those questions? Those are called neuro-emotional persuasion questions. It stands for NEPQ. If you hear that, Jasmine, the goat of sales, you're too nice. All right, now along the way of this live that we're going to go do the next 30 minutes. If you want more details, if you want to learn how we can help you sell a lot more of your products or services, you want more details about our training programs, in the comment section, just post hashtag NEPQ. So in the comment section, post hashtag NEPQ, and either myself or someone on our team will message you more details about how we can help you sell a lot more of your products and services if that's what you want, because you don't have to learn advanced skills to sell more. You can always sell less. I'm always being sarcastic. All right. Now, if you're on the live right now, I want you to post hashtag live. So if you're on the live right now, post hashtag live. And if you're on the replay, I want you to post hashtag replay. So if you're on live right now, post hashtag live. If you're on the replay, I want you to post hashtag replay. For each of you on as well right now, live or replay, I want you to smash the heart button. So go and smash the heart button. And I want you to go to smash the like button. So smash the heart button, smash the like button. We do that because that creates engagement in the group. More people in our Facebook groups are able to see this, more people on YouTube, and it helps more people get their questions answered. Now, if you're not in our private Facebook group where we go live 4 to 5 times a week and give lots of training for any industry, I'm going to have somebody on my team, if you can, maybe Chris or Erica, if you can post a Sales Revolution join button, you guys are welcome to join that. We'll ask you a couple of questions about what industry you're in and what you sell. And then you can join right in the group, and we'll tag you with the free 45-minute training on how to prevent objections from even happening in your prospects' minds, okay? It's called objection prevention, okay? So Erica or Chris, somebody on my team, if you could post the private Sales Revolution Facebook group in here. Okay. Let's get to the good stuff because nobody cares about me. Let's ask the questions. All right. Let's see. Mike Salvati from YouTube. Why do you have people logged into your Instagram account sliding in my DMs. I'm not sure, Mike. I haven't been in my account, so I don't know if we're DMing you or not. Maybe if you're in sales, maybe they're DMing you in sales. I'm not sure. Okay, let's see what's with here. Somebody asked me, and actually, let me go to my phone here. This will be easier because on StreamYard, you can't see actually who's asking the question. All right, so Kahaili Lagra. Kahaili, man, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I'm so sorry. I'm from Arkansas. I wouldn't pronounce names. I was just wondering, what's your intention, real goal, from asking the question, what's the rationale reason behind why you want to goal? Well, Kahaili, I don't know, are you in our NEPQ 3.0 or 2.0 advanced training courses? If you are, we go over all of that. Okay, so we go over why you're asking each question in each part of the sales process. Doesn't matter the industry, the product or service, and the psychological reasons why that happens. Okay, for that question, because I don't know if you're a member of our training, for that question, the reason why we want to ask them the rationale. So let me give you an example. Let's say if you sold, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out something random. Real estate training. Let's say that you sell the real estate training to investors so they can scale their real estate business. We train a lot of companies in that space as well. So I want to ask that problem awareness question. So John, help me understand, just so I can see the rationale behind you possibly doing something. But besides just wanting to, scale your business, because everybody wants that, what's the main reason why you might be looking for outside help in scaling rather than just trying to figure it out on your own? Now, why would I want to ask that question? Why would I want to ask them what's the rationale behind it? You know why? Because average salespeople, anybody can find out what the prospect's why is, but people don't buy off their why. You have to find out what's behind the why. What's the emotional drivers driving the why, not just what the why is. Okay, just by finding out what their why is, that's too surface level. Lots of people are not going to move off that. You have to find out what's behind the why. That's why we have the rationale question in there, Kahaili, because it helps them tell you what's behind the why, like why it's so important to them. But more importantly, who is it telling? It's telling themselves why it's so important. And that's the first part of the process in your problem awareness questions that you ask that start to trigger urgency for them to want to do something about it now, not down the road. So that eliminates a lot of, I want to think it over, or, I need to talk to my spouse or business partner for weeks, call me back. Those objections can be eliminated depending on the questions you learn how to ask. So hopefully you can get into our NEPQ 3.0, 2.0 program so you learn all that and don't lose sales, because you have to understand why you're even asking that question in the first place, my man. I hope that helped you. Okay, let's go to the next question. That was a good question, though. That was a good question. All right, somebody's got a next question here. I'm just reading on my phone. Let's see. Who do I got? Let's see. Who's got the next question? Man, there's just a lot of people in here. All right, Wolfgang. Jeremy, I am a coach. Thank you for telling me what you sell. Would it be good for me to send a soap opera sequence about myself, life experience to the prospects before the call? I'd be very careful on going overboard with that. When you say send them a soap opera sequence, are you talking about like some type of video introduction? I'm okay with the video introduction, but what you want to do is you want to focus on in the video introduction, because let me just be blunt. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about any person trying to sell them something. They only care about who? They care about themselves. So what you want to do in, I guess, a video, if you're wanting to pre-introduce what you do, is you want to go over problems that people have that typically come to you. Okay, so you want to go over what's called a personalized introduction. Now, we train all of this in our 17-hour virtual training course that we have. Okay, so hopefully I don't know if you're one of our clients, but we have a whole section on how to actually do what you're doing. Okay, what you want to do is you want to focus on 2 or 3 problems that your prospects have. Okay, and then how you solve those. Okay, but you're not going to go into a lot of detail on how you solve those. You're just going to give them a brief overview. Okay, but when you focus on 2 or 3 problems that most people have, and this is why they come to you. So typically clients or people typically come to us because of X and Y and Z. So let me give you an example. Okay, and I'll just give you an example from the personalized introduction that our company uses, 7th level, when we talk to companies or individual salespeople. Okay, let's say if it's a company we were calling, or a soap opera, or whatever you're doing there. So typically, clients come to us when they're frustrated about losing sales to low-cost competitors. They're worried that their salespeople are inconsistently hitting their sales targets, and sometimes flat out concerned that their salespeople are up and down and don't have a sales process that's duplicatable for the team. So what we do is, and we go over how we solve that problem, but we keep that in a paragraph. So you don't want to make that video very long. I wouldn't make it more than 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And it depends on what you sell. Like when you say you're a coach, I don't know what you coach. Like let's say that if you sold real estate education, it's going to be a little bit longer than if you sold a coaching program that, you know, talked about health. Okay. So it depends on what type of coach you are, but you don't want to go into full blow like, you know, I've done this in my life. I've done that. You know, I'm great about this. I'm great about that. Our company has the best reviews. We've got the best product, the best service, because that's just going to go in one ear out the other, because every person does that. And you don't want to sound like everybody else. So I hope that answered your question. I'd go into a lot more detail. I just don't have a ton of time to go through that a little bit more. Okay. Let's see. Joe Delbach, I'd love to learn more about cold calling the NEPQ way. Joe, I'm going to give you a few hints, but you know, the best thing probably for you is to actually learn how to do it. So I don't know if you're in our training programs, but if you're in our NEPQ 2.0 and our advanced 3.0, out of that 17-hour virtual training course, there's an hour and a half of it that's strictly on cold calling. Okay. We train lots of companies and salespeople on cold calling that typically convert 25% of the people that answer the phone. That is unheard of in anything, selling anything on cold calling. I will tell you that for sure. So you got to get the right training, man. You got to ask yourself, like, how many sales are you losing every single week because you still haven't learned how to use human behavior to get people to want to engage with you? So let me give you a brief hint, but try to get into our training, Joe, so you stop losing sales. Good Lord. All right. I'm just giving you a hard time, but I'm serious, dead serious. All right. So what you want to do when you're cold calling is you first have to understand, in any sales interaction, whether it's cold calling, whether it's inbound leads, whether it's outbound leads, whether it's door to door, whether it's in a meeting, it doesn't matter where it's at. Your prospects are picking up within the first 10 seconds of any conversation, verbal and nonverbal cues subconsciously. That's the way our brain is wired, subconsciously, that trigger their brain to react in one of two ways. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what questions to ask in the right tonality when you're asking them and the right verbal pausing, it triggers a negative reaction. And you probably get a lot of people right now, you probably say this, I'm assuming, because most cold callers are taught how to do one of two things. Hi, is John there? Hey, John, it's just James from XYZ company. And the reason why I called you today was, click, we don't need it. We're good with that. We already have something with that. I'm too busy right now. Call me back later. That's probably why you're getting a lot of those. Or you're taught how to do it this way. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, this is Joe with XYZ company. What we do is, and then you start talking about what you do. Or here's the reason why I called. Okay. I know exactly what training you've probably been through. And I know exactly how most prospects react to that. You can't sound like every other salesperson that cold calls them every single day of the week, week after week after week, because then they commoditize you and they just try to get rid of you. Okay. That's triggering resistance, sales resistance. You have to learn the right questions to ask in the beginning that trigger their brain subconsciously to react curiously to you. That's not even a word. To react to you in a way where they feel curious enough to want to engage with you. Does that make sense? Okay. So what you want to do, Joe, is you have to come up with something that's called a problem statement. We teach all of that in our training programs. Okay. Or NEPQ 2.0 and 3.0. You want to come up with one or two problems that most of your prospects have that they know about when you talk to them, even if it's a gatekeeper, that they would know about. Okay. One or two problems that they would know about. Okay. And you're focused on that problem because that gets people to open up. Okay. So the first way you start off that cold call, I'm just going to give you a brief hint because we're running out of time. Hi is, let's say that the decision maker just answers. I'm just going to give you a random, it's a little bit different than the gatekeeper answers. Hey, this is John here. Hey, John, this is just Jeremy Miner. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Sure. How can we help you? What's going on? Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see if your company would be open to, I would say, looking at any possible hidden gaps in your blank that could be causing you to blank. Now, let's analyze that real quick, Joe. Okay, and Joe, I don't know what you sell. Make sure when you guys ask me a question, say, I sell this. Here's my question. Okay, because it helps me answer your question better. If I don't know how to answer your question. So the first part of that, when I say, instead of saying, hi, is John there? Hey, John, it's Jeremy with XYZ Company. And the reason why I called is, click, everybody says that. Automatic sales resistance, salesperson, red alert going off, beep, beep, get rid of this person. That's what they do. You're going to say, yeah, is John there? Oh, hey, John, this is just Jeremy Miner. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Now, why would I say this is just? When you say this is just, it implies what? That they should already know who you are, okay? That's an English word that implies that they should already know who you are. Yeah, this is just, and you're downplaying it. You're not excited. You're just neutral. You're just relaxed conversation, like a normal human being, right? And then you say, I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Now, what do human beings do? If I walked into a gas station and says, can somebody possibly help me out for a moment? What do? How can we help you? It's just a human reaction, okay? Most of the time people are going to say, how can I help you? Or they might say, sure, how can I help you? Who is this? Or what's this all about? And then you immediately disarm it. You say, well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. Now, why do I say that? Because I want to detach myself from the sale, take the pressure out of the room. Well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I called to see if your company would be open to looking at any possible hidden gaps in your blank. What's that blank? That could be causing you to blank. Okay. Now, Joe, you have to fill in that blank because I don't know what you sell. Okay. Let's say that if you were selling, let's say if you're selling B2B, because that's usually where cold calling is. And let's say that you were selling merchant processing, for example. I don't know. We train a lot of companies in that space as well. It's calling to see if your company would be open to, I would say, looking at any possible hidden gaps in your processing that could be causing you to overpay each month. Now, processing that could be causing you, notice I'm neutral, to overpay each month. Now, do you know what they're going to do? Well, how do you mean by overpay? Or who is this again? Or what's this all about? Oh, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you, John. What I do is you know how, and you're going to go into what's called a personalized introduction. The problem state is not meant to sell them. The problem statement is meant to get them to want to engage with you and open up the conversation. Okay. Somebody said, Jeremy, I have NEPQ 2018. NEPQ 1.0, I think, is NEPQ 3.0, a lot more advanced. Well, yeah, because there's like 8 more hours of advanced training in there that I didn't put in the very first version. And what that does is you have a training call with me each week where you ask me any questions, plus 6 other advanced role-playing training calls with my team of sales trainers each week that we role play on tonality, because your tonality is very, very important with the question. So there's a lot of differences between the very first version, which was very basic, compared to NEPQ 3.0. That's what we call advanced NEPQ 3.0. Okay, let's keep going through your questions here. I've got about, whoa, I'm running out of time here. Hold on. I've got a meeting coming up. Let's see here. Let me keep going. Geez, we've got 150 questions. I'm going to have to start making this. I'm going to have to start making this call like an hour long instead of 30 minutes. Good Lord. Let's see here. Charles Turner III. I'm not going to be able to get to all these questions. I'm going to do my best. My offer has a marketing message that you don't need money to get started in real estate investing. This leads some prospects to believe there's no investment required. Come to the call. What would the best way to frame the call to see if there's even a sale to be made so I'm not wasting time with freebie seekers? Well, first of all, they're probably saying that you can put no money down to invest in real estate, right? However, they have to learn the skills to be able to go out and do that. and to hire a company to be able to teach them those skills to do that, right, Charles? We train a lot of people in your space. In fact, I've got 3 or 4 new members in my advanced inner circle. Why train them myself that are selling exactly what you are, that are making 30, 40, 50, 60,000 in commissions every month selling what you are. Same ads, same everything, okay? So what you have to do is you're going to have to ask a qualifying question. So if they get on there and they're like, is this going to cost any money? Like, I don't have any money. And they're just all talking about money in the conversation. You need to qualify them so you don't waste your time, okay? Or they say, I'm a student, or, I don't have any money. You need to qualify them, because a student might not have money. Now, if you qualify them and they do, that's one thing, but a lot of them wouldn't, right? Because they're just starting out. So what you want to do is you want to just stop the call and you want to say, John, let's do this. First and foremost, I need to make sure we could even help you in the first place. I'm assuming that you understand when you get into real estate investing or any business that you're starting, that it's going to require capital or credit to put in to learn the right skills to be able to run that business so you can make money starting out. So with your situation, what type of funding do you have to put into training, learning the right skills so that you can start making profits in real estate within the first 2 months of starting? Okay. Notice how I'm tying the money, them getting the money, or them finding out what type of funding they have to what? Getting them what they said they wanted. The reason why they're responding to your ad is because of why? Because they want to make more money. They want to have more time. They want to get out of their job, because that's what real estate would do for somebody if they learn the right skills. Okay. So you have to qualify them there. Now, if they come back and they say, let's say your program's 10 grand, and like, I don't have any money. Okay. Like, it depends on what they say. If they think, well, I'm just a student. I'm 18. I have $10 to my name. I'm not going to spend much time with that person. I'm simply going to say, yeah, with this business, just so you're aware, you're going to need to put in around $10,000 when you start it to learn the right skills to actually make profits within the first 60 days. Is that something you can come up with if it fits into what you're looking for? And if they can't come up with it, go to the next person. Okay. Now, if they come back and say, if they have a really good job, you might ask them, well, how's your credit though? Okay. You can ask that if they can't come up with ways to get the funding. But you definitely want to qualify them that, and you have to do it that way that I did it. You can't just say, how much money do you have to start a business? That's not going to work. You have to tie in them getting the money, funding, to getting them what they want. Remember, you're not selling the thing. You're not selling real estate education. You're selling the results of that thing. What are the results of that training? Them making more money. That's what you're selling. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question, Charles. Going back here, we've got 57 questions. Good Lord. I wish I could answer all these for you guys. Let's see here. Okay, trying to catch up with you guys. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Okay, hopefully that helped the last couple of people. Okay. Okay, same thing for the user that says, how do you properly disqualify qualified leads so you don't waste your time with unqualified leads? It's the same thing for e-commerce. We train a lot of companies in that space. Very similar. Let's see. So many questions. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to these questions for you guys. Okay, somebody has a question here. Jeremy, I sell commercial roofing to building owners. Tyler Hall. I sell commercial roofing to builder owners. Is the conversation the same to the owner once you get them to the gatekeeper, or are they completely different combos? Tyler, I'm trying to understand your question. Jeremy, I sell commercial roofing to building owners. I know your space, train a lot of people in it. Is the conversation the same to the owner once you get them once you get to them as the gatekeeper, or the complete? No, it's the same conversation. Because if the gatekeeper just passes you off to the owner and you say, hey, John, I just got transferred over from Sally, and the reason why I called you today is, click, we're not interested. So it's a little bit different though. So let me give you an example. So let's say that you do that and the gatekeeper's like, oh yeah, that's Jim and purchasing department. Let me transfer you over there. I don't know anything about that. Okay. And they transfer you over. Okay. That will happen sometimes. And there's other situations where you have to, they're going to say certain things. You have to respond a different way. But let's say they transfer you over. Okay. And so he picks up the phone. Hey, this is Jim in purchasing. Hey, Jim, it's just Jeremy. Jean, your secretary, had transferred me over to you. Quick question, and I'm not quite sure if I could even help you at this point. Actually, no, let's do this, because I'm gonna have you rephrase it with what you do. I cut something because we train a lot of companies in your space. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, this is just Jeremy. Jean had transferred me over from the office. I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment. Yeah, sure. How can I help you? What it's all about? Well, and I'm not quite sure I could. I'm not quite sure if you could. Jean thought I might possibly be able to. That's why she transferred me. But I called to see if your company would be, let's say, open to looking at any possible hidden gaps in your blank that could be causing you to blank. Now, Tyler, you have to fill in those blanks. I don't know if you're in our training. If you're in our NEPQ 2.0 and our advanced 3.0 training, go into the cold calling sections. There's one on, I think, the 4th module that's about 45 minutes. And then there's another one on the very last module that's another 45 minutes specifically on cold calling and how to actually tie that into what you sell. If you're not in the training, you probably should be, because you're probably losing sales you could be making. But you definitely, it's going to be a little bit of a different angle that you take with the actual decision maker, but very similar. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question. All right, let's see what other questions we have. I've got probably one more question that I can take here. Let's see here. Actually, hold on. There was so many questions that I lost track here on the phone. So let me see if I can scroll here up here. All right. Somebody said, I asked the question, how would it make you feel if we would be able to address your concerns about the security of you and your family? I'm assuming you sell security systems. I don't know. She gave an extended answer on the effect it would have. Without skipping a beat, she asked a technical question about why her system was better than the one she already has. Do you immediately answer the technical question or continue asking probing questions? Well, first of all, you have to understand, like, the reason why she's asking those technical questions is because you haven't learned the right questions to pull out enough emotional need for her to solve the problem. Okay. That's why people ask those type of technical questions, just to understand. So I'm going to give you the Band-Aid approach, but you want to learn the NEPQ questions asked where that concern doesn't come up in her mind. But what you can do there, if she says, well, why is your system, better than the one we already have? You can simply say this, well, maybe it's not, we're not that cool. So you can just step back and say, well, maybe we're not that cool as your company you're with now. And they'll just be like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And then you're going to say, typically what our clients tell us, the reasons why they switch over from the company you're with to ours. And like I said, I don't want to bore you to death, but what they tell us is because of X and Y and Z. And then at the end you say, are you with me on that? Or does that make sense? Or do you see how that might help you? Okay. Now you got to come up with the X, Y, and Z, because I don't have time to come up that with you on a live here. If you're in our training, we teach you how to do that. Okay. But you got to come up with, yeah, well, we're not that cool. I mean, maybe we're not that much cooler than the company you're with now, and just kind of smile. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And they'll laugh. All right. And then you say, typically what our clients tell us that used to be with your company is the reason why they wanted to switch over is because they had X and Y, Z problems, and you go over the problems they had and how we solve that is, and then you go over the reasons how you solve those individual problems. And then at the end you say, does that make sense? Or do you see how that might help you? That's what you want to do to be able to answer that concern. Okay. Hopefully that helped you. I'm going to see if we have one last question here real quick before I get off. Let's see here. Any other questions? Oh, Michelle, how do you keep your momentum after rejection, after rejection, after rejection? We have to understand rejection and resistance is only triggered by the way we sell. Okay. Remember, when you first start talking to your prospects in any sales situation, doesn't matter if it's B2B, door-to-door, Zoom, inbound leads, outbound leads, cold calling, doesn't matter in a business meeting, boardroom, doesn't matter if you're selling B2B, B2C. In the first 10 seconds, your prospects subconsciously, here's how our brains are wired, are picking up on verbal cues and nonverbal cues based on your tonality and what you are saying and asking that trigger their brain to react one of two ways. If you don't know the right questions to ask, NEPQ, it triggers their brain to react negatively, throw out objections. We don't need it. We already have that. And they reject you. Resistance is automatically happening, okay? If you do know the right questions to ask with the right tonality, right verbal pausing, it triggers their brain to want to engage with you, to become curious enough to want to engage with you because they feel that there's something they're possibly missing out. So you have to learn the right skills. I think it's Michelle Caston. You have to learn the right skills so you don't get that resistance, okay? Because you getting resistance, rejection all day long, you know what's going to happen? Well, you're going to burn out and you're going to quit sales. So when you learn the right skills, when you learn the skills that work with human behavior, and instead of pushing when you're selling, you know the questions to ask where the prospect pulls you in, you don't have the resistance. You don't have the rejection. It's just different. It's a different ball game at that point, and it's about 10 times more profitable. So I hope that answered your questions. I think next week I'm going to spend a good 45 minutes on here. I know we only have 30 minutes today. I apologize. Next week I might go live, answer questions for about 40 or 45 minutes. Hope that helped everybody. If you want to know more details about how we can help you sell a lot more of your products and services like we have for thousands of our clients just in the first 2 years, we have almost 3,000 testimonials at this point, more than any sales training organization on the earth, from what I've been told. In the comments section, just post #NEPQ, #NEPQ, and either myself or some of our team can message you more details to see if we can help you. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you soon. Thanks for having me on.